10 years. 10 years of pretending everything was fine. 10 years of smiling while my heart quietly broke inside. 10 years of him walking out the door with excuses I desperately wanted to believe. I loved him with every ounce of me, and I trusted him blindly. But every relationship has its cracks, and he had been exploiting them for a decade. At first, I brushed off the little things. An unexpected business trip, a phone that he guarded like it was a secret treasure, laughter that didn't belong to our home. I tried to rationalize. Maybe he was overworked. Maybe I was overthinking. Love demanded trust, didn't it? Marriage required believing in someone, even when tiny doubts crept in like shadows. But shadows can grow into darkness. I stumbled upon the first piece of undeniable proof, messages hidden behind a locked phone. I froze, unable to breathe, unable to speak. The first wave of rage hit me like a lightning bolt. I stared at the screen, trying to understand how someone could love you and lie to you for 10 whole years. How could he look me in the eyes every day while carrying a secret life in his pocket? I knew I had a choice: explode, destroy, yell, and cry, or wait, watch, and strike with precision. I chose the latter. For weeks I observed him carefully, pretending I didn't know. He strutted around our home like a king in a castle, completely unaware that I had discovered his betrayal. I began to take meticulous notes. Every date, every trip, every unusual meeting, I documented it. I made lists of names I had never heard before. I stored receipts, screenshots, and proof of every lie. Meanwhile, I began to work on myself. I invested in my career, my appearance, my confidence. I bought clothes that made me feel untouchable, shoes that clicked with authority, and a smile that hid my growing storm. I started running early in the morning, building strength and clarity. I transformed silently, slowly, like a coiled spring waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I thought about him constantly, not in anger, but in strategy. Every lie he had told me became a weapon, every betrayal a stepping stone toward justice. And all the while, he believed he had won. I remember sitting in our living room one evening, watching him on the couch, completely oblivious to the plan I had formed. He was laughing at a joke on TV, and I could feel the years of deceit crawling under my skin. I whispered to myself, "Wait, you'll see. You will regret every moment." Months passed. I stayed calm, pretending everything was normal. I cooked dinner for him, smiled at his jokes, shared a laugh here and there, and carried out the perfect facade of a loving wife. All the while, my mind was working faster than I had ever imagined. I knew every day he thought he had won was a day closer to the night when his empire of lies would crumble. It wasn't just the evidence I collected that made me strong. It was the transformation in myself. I had begun to realize my own power. I realized that his lies had given me an unexpected gift: clarity. I was no longer afraid. I was no longer blindly devoted. I could see him for what he truly was: a man who had underestimated me, a man who had thought I was weak. I began to plan my revenge in detail. Not revenge in anger or malice, but revenge in precision. I wanted him to feel the weight of 10 years of betrayal, the sting of knowing that every lie, every secret, and every broken promise was now in my hands. I imagined the night of reckoning over and over. I imagined him sitting at the dinner table, unsuspecting, thinking it would be like every other anniversary. I imagined the exact moment when I would hand him the envelope containing the truth, when his life would shift from arrogance to panic. I rehearsed my words in my mind. I knew I had to remain calm, controlled, and confident. Rage would only make me lose power. Instead, I would let him crumble under the weight of his own guilt. Let him realize the cost of underestimating me. Finally, the day arrived. Our anniversary. I prepared the table with candles, wine, and the perfect ambience. He walked in, expecting roses, laughter, maybe a toast. Instead, he found me, composed, radiant, and holding a sealed envelope. "What's this?" he asked, his voice betraying his confusion. I smiled faintly. "Open it," I said softly. Inside was the truth. Every secret, every betrayal, every detail of his double life was documented. Names, places, dates, conversations, proof of the decade he thought he had hidden from me. I watched him open the envelope, and I saw the realization dawn on his face. Color drained, eyes widened, lips trembling. I spoke calmly. "I've arranged everything. The house has been sold. Custody is mine. You will walk away with nothing but regret. Every single choice you made has led to this moment." He tried to justify himself. He tried to beg. He tried to promise that he would change, but there was no undoing 10 years of lies. No apology could erase the betrayal. I watched as his world collapsed around him, and I felt nothing but quiet triumph. 10 years of pain, frustration, and heartbreak had ended not with screams or vengeance and anger, but with clarity, strength, and dignity. In the weeks that followed, I rebuilt my life. I poured my energy into my children, my career, my passions. I spent hours creating memories with them, reminding myself of the love that was real and true. I surrounded myself with people who valued me, who recognized my strength, who reminded me of my worth. And all the while, I knew he was suffering. He had imagined he could break me. He had imagined he could continue his life as if nothing had happened. But every smile I wore, every achievement I celebrated, every peaceful night I spent without him was a dagger reminding him of what he had lost. I had transformed my pain into power. I had taken the betrayal that had haunted me for a decade and turned it into a force that reshaped my life. I was no longer the woman who cried silently in the bedroom while he walked freely with his lies. I was untouchable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. He regrets everything. He regrets every lie, every moment of deceit, every time he thought he was clever. And I finally have everything: freedom, peace, and a life that is mine and mine alone. I am not bitter. I am not broken. I am empowered. I am free. And in my freedom, I discovered something incredible: the true power of patience, intelligence, and inner strength. 10 years of betrayal ended, not with rage, not with vengeance fueled by anger, but with revenge fueled by clarity and dignity. He thought he could take my life, my love, my trust, and my happiness, but he was wrong. He underestimated me, and that was his greatest mistake. I live now without fear, without pain, without the shadow of someone else's lies hanging over me, and every day, I am reminded that truth, strength, and patience are more powerful than deceit, arrogance, and betrayal. I am proof that no one can take away your worth, not even someone who pretends to love you for a decade, and he will carry his regret for the rest of his life.